Okay, we will start with the Guru Yoga. Jedo dewa chebe bona do de jeda Just for a moment, bring your attention inward. Connect with your own body. Bring your awareness to this moment and feel the stillness and silence and spaciousness. As you are fully connected to yourself, so be aware of your surrounding, be aware of others. Okay. So welcome everybody to this third webcast, live webcast on transforming your world through service, enlightened leadership. As we all know, that this is a continue program for next altogether. This is about 6 months, and I know many of you have been following these live webcasts continuously, which I'm really very happy to see that. Every time when I'm traveling around the world, I meet people who are saying that they have been following these live webcasts, and just everywhere I've been encountering that, and that makes me very happy to see that there are people who are continuously following that, and it's important for many of you. So I am very happy for that. So those you are new here, also, this is something that as Lingmicha International and as my own personal effort, that we want, with all the wonderful voluntary people around, this is our commitment to continue not only for next 6 months, but continuously do every month, every second Saturday of every month, to continue on different topics and the different teachings. Not only just to have different topics, but to have also a platform where people can communicate with each other, where people can share your own experiences, where people can also listen and learn from other people's experiences. And so there's some sense of building a community, a cyber community, what we call cyber sangha. So this is the time where we all are living in a very fast technological world, and the internet world. So that I think there is, some people say I like it internet, some people I say I hate the internet, people they say good thing about it, bad thing about it, and at the end of the day we all are becoming a part of it, and it is changing our life and our world. So as moving through the flow of the internet, I think we're trying to use this service to help serve other people. So we are trying to do that. So we are very committed to continuing to do that. So I hope that all of you also continuously learn from this, and every month remember to join, and every month also remind other people to join this. So also that of course, this is a totally free. This is our service for everybody, and there's a discussion forum there. And there's also recorded webcast. So every time when you miss one webcast, or anybody miss one webcast, you know that you can come back, and it's recorded there on our website, and also on Ocean of Wisdom website. And also, we have MP3 audio recordings that which we are recording, and that will be also available, because many times people not able to watch video but able to listen when they're moving around. So which is also a nice way. Then there is also downloadable printed materials, and so there are all these resources are there. I hope that all of you make the best good use of it. And so now for this time, so this particularly part of the live webcast, it's last time we talked about the wisdom. So basically we talked about that enlightened leadership and serving others both has so much to do with wisdom and compassion. And so that the term wisdom and compassion is, of course, it's some for some of you might be very new, but some of you are very familiar with that. But for any spiritual people who are on the spiritual path, particularly people on the Buddhist path, I think the wisdom and compassion is the two core aspect of our spiritual practice to achieve liberation, to final liberation or absolute liberation. In order to achieve that liberation, the compassion and the wisdom is two most important mean. And so here, what I'm trying to do is to say that, in all our life, one way or another way, we are purpose of our life is service to help other, and many times we are also in position of leadership in order to be a good leader, lead your own life, family, group, and community, and or even the country. That you need to have this core quality in order to have a great leadership. So that comes down to these two very important core point. And we also spoke quite a bit last time that um, we do a formal practices in our life, but informal practices every day in our work and activity that we do. If these work and activity has these two elements of compassion and wisdom, then whatever we are doing, it becomes our spiritual practice. So having a sense of more a compassion to your children or your partner, your husband, wife, your family's relative, your colleague, your employee, your boss, strangers. If any time when we encounter in our everyday life, if there is some sense of compassion toward them, then it's your life, but it's your not only regular your life, it is your compassion practice. Whenever a challenging situation affects your identity, your ego, your pain body, when you are able to be conscious of that, address that, when you're able um, to to let it be and let it go in that space, in that sacred space, that is a wisdom. That means you are not only being very that the challenging situations not only affecting you, but you are actually applying a great meditation. You're applying a meditation of wisdom, a close to a wisdom, a meditation. So your life is becomes a practice. So that is, I think, I really feel like I have been emphasizing last two times, and so I want everybody to remember that those emphasis here. And then obviously just kind of brief, last webcast was a wisdom, and wisdom is experiences of a selflessness. So the experience of oneself beyond the ego, beyond pain body. So experience of oneself in a totally, completely being open and resting in the nature of mind in that sacred space. That is what wisdom means. So basically, in every situation, in the moment in situation, whenever something affects you, you are able to be conscious and host that, and able to dissolve that in that sacred space, and finding a new direction, a new way of being. That's the wisdom. So it's important to not forget that. So that is the, I think, in a way, the true sense of compassion, a genuine sense of compassion, it really arises from that openness. Because many time in many religion or many spiritual practices, or even a morality, we learn to that it's good to have a compassion. One should have a compassion. You should have a compassion. You should have compassion to your family, your partner, and so on and so on. We are taught. We have heard that, and we probably feel like we got to try to do that, and we tried that, and sometimes we suffer just trying to be nice. Basically, we suffer inside ourselves trying to help somebody, or we suffer in ourselves trying to be nice to somebody, or so basically trying to be doing kind things, doing nice things, doing the right thing, it can be very stressful when that kindness is not coming from the right place. Basically, when that kindness, when that compassion is not coming from right place, means it is coming from a sense of blockages in yourself. It's coming from a place of a conditional space in yourself. It's coming from place in yourself, old wounded history and fear. It's coming from yourself of like a pain identity. So it's coming from those wrong places. When it's coming from those wrong places, one can try to be nice, trying to be kind, and it might sometime work, but in the deep inside you are suffering. So basically you are um, uh, punishing yourself by doing that, and that even really in if you look in terms of the practice, I will not really think that it's a genuine kind of practice, or for sure genuine kind of compassionate practice, because it's it's like a self-torturing basically. It's and very often what happens when you do that, you are not only torturing yourself, punishing yourself, but as an outcome you also feel so much expectations from other people, because you're saying, oh, I'm giving up this, I'm giving up this, and I am sacrificing myself, I make special time, I trying to put money, I trying to give this and that. I'm so you're putting lot, but you're also expecting a lot, because you're putting a lot of pain and suffering by trying to help somebody. As a result of that, you're expecting some great outcome and a fast outcome, and somebody should listen to you, somebody should recognize, give you a recognition and acknowledgement, and so many different subtle and obvious form of expectations that you have from people. And through those expectations, you're not really able to help somebody that much, and for sure you're not helping yourself, uh, and not only not helping yourself, in a way really like it's kind of punishing yourself. So I know we do that, but I think it's important that we should be conscious and be aware of that. So basically, let's talk about this. uh, what is compassion? So in terms of in the Buddhism, what is compassion is compassion is like having this sense of sympathy, like empathy toward others suffering, and a genuine motivation to uh, uh, that may they be free from their suffering. Uh, can I be part of liberating them from their suffering? May they free from their suffering. So with a deep sense of sympathy and empathy, and this a clear intention of that, I want them to be free from the suffering. So it's a very a unique mental state, or it's a very unique a state of mind, a state of awareness, which has focusing, which is aware of other people, which is aware of other people's pain, which is also which you are having sympathy toward that, because you are some sense of identifying with that, because you know how does that feel. um, you know how does a mother will feel when she loses the only child, or you know how does the child will feel when child loses the mother, or when you know how somebody feel when somebody falls down, get hurt, or so when somebody is terminally sick, when somebody is totally hopeless and not knowing a direction, totally confused. How does that feel? You are very aware, and you know, because you have that experience, you have gone through that. So there is a deep sense of sympathy and empathy there. And but it does not stop there. It's not only sympathy. Sympathy is not when you identify, and when you feel that somebody's pain as a like a kind of same state you're feeling it. But the compassion is more than that. It's really like this mind of, may this person be free, may this person be free from that suffering. And most of the time, just think about this. Sometimes you might have a great sympathy towards somebody, but not necessarily a clear compassion or clear a sense of um, that this person, may this person be free, or may I can do something so this person can be free, that you are actively kind of engaging with that situation. Those kind of are pieces of mind might not necessarily be there. So compassion is kind of, and all those pieces come together. I think it's in a sense it's very important to have that together. How does this attitude of compassion would actually help in terms of the leadership? So obviously, if you look at today's world's leadership, many times leaderships are, if you look in one country's a sense of leadership, that country's leadership is very much driven to toward that country, or one city's leadership is very driven toward that city. And so basically caring and attention, it's very limited to this country, to this city, to this neighborhood, to this family, to my family, to me. So every time to some sense of caring can be limited by uh, like a size of how much your object of compassion, how big that object of compassion is. And for sure, in the practice of compassion, the whole idea of practice of compassion, to recognizing those conditions, those limitations. When I know I care about myself, and I know I care about my child, or my family, my relatives, but I know it's limited there, then I'm expanding to my neighbors, am I expanding to my city, to country, to other countries, to strangers, to rest of the world, to whole sentient beings. So there is so much space for expansion of compassion. So that, I think that's very important, that in compassion there is this very small sense of compassion and a very big sense of compassion. And many times in a leadership, could be very important to know that how we limit ourselves. I know, like many times happens in the leadership, where people get very focused on themselves, focus on their pain, focus on their needs, focus on like a more like a conflict. So they are not able to bring attention to other people, basically. So I think it's really important in leadership. So when the practice of compassion is very much the bringing this sense of paying attention to other people, being aware of other people, being aware of other people's pain, being aware of other people's need, being aware of a collective purpose, a collective mission. What for many times when you go into the organization to trying to serve something, a reason why you go into one organization to serve something is that you kind of believe in that collective mission of that organization, of that country, of that spiritual tradition. So you enter into there with seeing that. But then as you enter into there, you get more caught up with your own pain, your own conflict, your own fear, and then you will not able to separate that. You don't see other people, you don't see other people's opinion. So when somebody is very self-centered, self-focused, pain focused, conflict, stuck in conflict, then there is not going to be a good leadership at all. And if you look around, either in a level of the nation, world, and nation, in the community, maybe look at your part of the community that you belong to, you look in the same thing. Even in the family, you see, if somebody is stuck in their own conflict and pain, and they don't see other family members, other people, then they cannot lead other people well. So compassion is the opposite. It really teaches you how to pay attention to other people. So that clearly, I think compassion has very important role in service for sure, service to others, and also, and clearly compassion has a clear role of great leadership. And a good leaders uh, are trying to host things in a very warm space, trying to breathe in the warm space, trying to look through the warm space, trying to see things from that warm space, trying to give space to other from that warm space, trying to have a gradual, necessary interaction with those people, rather than coming with aggressive quality and anger and conflict and pain, having a lot of space to interact from that warm space, and with compassionately giving that so much space to other. And I think that when somebody is able to give those kind of space to others, but from those space, a right group of people merges, a right thought and ideas arises, right actions occurs, a collective decisions get made, and very efficient effects and outcomes for a greater and collective purposes arises from those places. It's very natural process to come out when the leadership is based on more compassion and warm space. So it it clearly that compassion and leadership is very closely tied, and the compassion is the, I think, core and great cause and source for great leadership. Not only that, but also I think compassion is also a uh, very much really based sources of happiness. So if you really think about, okay, I wanted to be happy in my life, happiness is important. Every sentient being seeks, have the right to seek happiness in your own way, and in our own way. Many times, we whatever we are doing, we end up in a way feeling more pain, suffering, more conflict than happiness, because why we have more pain, more conflict, more challenging situation is simply because we focus too much on ourselves, we focus too much on our pain, we focus too much in our conflict, and we get too stuck in there. Therefore, we don't have openness. That means we don't have a compassion. Therefore, we don't see other people and see their pain and their need. Therefore, we don't have a compassion. So there is no wisdom, there is no compassion, and basically there is no happiness. Because if anytime, for example, I don't know how often you look at that way, but just sometime I think it's a great experience to look. We all know how many times we feel joy when we receive some acknowledgement. When somebody says something great about you, you're happy. When something gives you some nice gift, you are happy. When something something happens to you, you feel happy. But how often you pay attention to that, you feel same amount, even more joy, by acknowledging other people, by seeing other beauty in other people, by seeing the kindness of other people, by giving gift to somebody, by sending a genuine sense of expressing appreciation towards somebody, or even just simply just being with somebody, connecting with somebody. Just those moments, those beautiful magical moments that we have, it's there. Sometimes we feel much more joy by doing for others than doing for oneself. But because for sure we are used to more doing for ourselves, at least we engage doing ourselves, not necessarily we feel so much joy or pure joy, but we nevertheless we still do it. So somehow compassion, it's true source of happiness. being aware of others, being aware of others' pain, and paying attention to others' need. It's great source. It is the attitude of compassion, and it's also a great source of happiness, because in leadership you cannot really do much unless you are collaborated by other people. So in a good leadership, I mean, if you cannot order somebody to do something. Somebody need to feel something to do for the purpose, collective purpose, or to do to you, to serve you, to do your collective purpose. People need to feel that, but you cannot push people to do that. You might be able to do it short time, but in the long run, for sure, that does not work. So in order to good leadership is a genuine collaboration from others. A genuine collaboration from others is when you feel connection with others, when other people feel connection to yourself. So that connection, it clearly comes from the compassion, because if compassion is not there, those connections are not there. So people's connection, heart connection, each other's connection, group connection, organizations connection with each other, as a team that we're trying to do our collective task together, unless there are a harmonious connection between each other, nothing, a good task or effortless goal is not going to accomplish. So there has something to do down to a sense of compassion. Collaboration comes from the sense of compassion. So once again, in order to complete a task, a collective collective mission with other and leading other, it's really important. The compassion is the key too there. So let's think about a little bit more some of the thoughts, how we can kind of exercise our mind. I want you to look at yourself, and maybe a few ideas I wanted to think. As in the beginning of our after the Guru Yoga prayer, I was just giving this suggestion of be aware of others. So just for a moment, this very moment, as I'm speaking, either you are watching the live webcast by yourself, or you are with some friends or group of people. Just for a moment, pay attention to others. If you're not with anybody, but then there are a lot of people in your life. There are a lot of people who are very close in your life, that you have more intimate relationship. You are very working closely, emotional conflict with somebody, or you are trying to, or you're having some successfully, you're trying to accomplishing task, a project with somebody. All those people are out there. Just some of the more close ones, I want you to draw a little attention to them this moment. Even you're trying to do a business with somebody, you're trying to negotiate with somebody, you're trying to draw a little attention to that person's need, because you are focusing on your need. If you are in intimate relationship with somebody, you are worried about what might happen to you in this relationship, or how far this relationship will last for you, what those things mean to you. But for a moment, shift the attention, what it does mean to the other person, what this relationship means to other person's fear, other person's need. other person's doubt, insecurity. Look at closely situations where in your families where even a parent says, I love my child, and I love my child, therefore I want my child to do these things. I think these things are good for my son. These things are good for my daughter because I love her, I love him. Just for a moment, you forget about yourself. Think about what really is good for the other person, what is really good for your child, good for your son, good for your daughter. Just in some way, I think just in the whole another world attitude, just from oneself to others, drawing the attention from oneself to others, being interested in that, and being open and drawing attention to the others. Look at the situations where there are many situations where you feel that you are doing for others, you are doing a service, you are helping a community, you are helping your aging parents, dying parents, you are helping your growing children, you are helping a needy friends. In some sense that you know or you feel that you are engaged in helping somebody. But now you look at it closely, how much those help that you're trying to do, how much of those help, it's very much still involved, you are involved. Basically, what I'm saying, the things that you are engaged in your life, helping other people, serving other people, how much still your pain, your ego, your own inner conflict, how you say, unaddressed inner conflict are interfering very subtly there, kind of slowly interfering there. It's very difficult to be conscious unless you really are interested and pay attention. It's important for you. So this is the moment I'm encouraging you, all those what you call service, how much still your pain, your own ego's need is involved in there. Nothing wrong in. I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. They are there, but I think it's how greater the degree is. Are you conscious of them? Are you interested to minimize them? Are you interested to be free from them? Are you interested to engage more on compassion? This is the discussion we are having here. I know that most of us, we are still involved. I can clearly talk for myself. My pain is still there. My ego is still there. And I cannot talk for everybody, for me, for sure. But the question is, are you reflecting? Are you aware? Are you interested in changing? Are you committed in your life to change that, to make progress in changing it? That's great. That commitment is great. That commitment, it's it will transform your life. That commitment will transform your ability to serve for others much better. That commitment will accelerate your own practice deeper. That commitment will help you to bring much more ease, flow, playfulness, effortlessness in your service to others. Because the less your pain is involved in the situation, more you're going to be free. The more you feel free, the more you're going to be playful, effortless. The more you're playful and effortless, you're going to give more space for more what requires to do something from that in that situation. You will allow more natural existing resources to arise. It will arise. When the morning comes, sun arises. When the evening comes, sun sets. It's where many natural flows. When in a very difficult, a collective, painful, conflicted situation, if everybody gave enough space to it, nobody needed to come up with any idea. The idea will collectively come, spontaneously come and resolve everything by itself without anybody's effort. But what people need to do is just needed to give a genuine space for others, for each others, for the collective energy. Not interfere that collective space with individual pains occupying that. One individual pain occupying, another individual pain occupying. That collective space is totally occupied by many individual pains. These are individual pains are totally blockages for that solution to arise, creativity to arise, effortless, enlightened activity to arise. That's what's happening. So just for a moment, I want everybody to reflect in your own life.